Hey parents, this is Jordan Mims again with this week's Parent Discipleship Tip. Last week I mentioned that the tip was on heart connections. And Dr. Richard Ross, professor of Southwestern Seminary, illustrated heart connections with this idea of the PVC pipe. That your child has a pipe connected to their heart. And God's design is for you as a parent to be on the other end of that pipe. That your heart is to be on the end. And so that way you have a heart connection. You have a connection with your child. And through that heart connection, you are able to pass on spiritual truths. You're able to pass on the faith. You're able to encourage their heart, point them to Jesus through that heart connection. And when the heart connection isn't there, your child is not connected, and your child is seeking some other connection and is going to seek out either a friend or a boyfriend or girlfriend or another adult. And it may not be a good thing. And so the first thing that I wanted to encourage you with is to continue to strengthen your heart connection with your children. One of those ways is keeping open lines of communication. I know having teenage children, you may think your teens don't want to talk to you at all. They come home from school and they're like, hey, the day stunk or the day was okay, and they run off to their room and they start texting or getting on the computer or whatever. Be sure that you continue to talk with them, that you continue to open lines of communication, that even if they don't look that interested, know that they are interested and they want to know that you care. They want to know that you are invested in their lives. And the only way you can show that is through communicating with them. So I encourage you to continue to keep an open lines of communication. Even your younger children want to sit down and they want to talk with you. They want to play with you. And as small children, I know with my children, and that's a way of keeping and nurturing that heart connection that you have with your child. And the tip I wanted to share with you this week really has to do with how do you pass on spiritual truths through that heart connection. And that's done, one of those ways is done through what I like to call faith talks. And faith talks is pretty much, that's what it is. It's a time where you as a parent and you and your children gather around and you spend time talking about the faith, or you spend time doing a devotion together. My challenge is that you as a family would do at least one faith talk a week. And you may feel like that's almost intimidating, or it would definitely be intimidating to maybe do 2 or 3 times a week, but even one may seem intimidating to you. But know that there are many resources out there that you can use to have this faith conversation with your child, to have this faith talk. There's one, heartconnects.com, and hopefully that'll be on the video there at the bottom. But if you go to heartconnects.com, these are pages that Dr. Ross and Lifeway has put together where it's basically 20-minute devotionals that you can sit down with your children, and there's a portion where you say, and then there's a portion that your children respond. So it's an interactive devotional. And it's something that's very simple that you can just print out and go over really quickly and then gather your family around and go through it. There's devotionals all through different books of the Bible. So you can go on that page and check it out. Those are free resources. You could go to d6family.com, again, that website on the bottom there. And you can go there and subscribe to their Splink, which is another resource, which is another tool to have faith conversations with your family. Or even the least thing that you could maybe do is take Sunday's sermon. As you're sitting there and taking notes with Pastor's sermon, you can look at the points maybe that Pastor has mentioned, the passage of Scripture that he has gone over, and you can take some and make some questions out of those points or out of those passages and ask those to your children or ask those to your family and get a little bit of conversation going based on Sunday's sermon. We hope in the future, we hope in the near future to have faith talk sheets that you as a parent, after hearing Sunday's sermon, you can take the sheet home and you can do a faith talk based on the sermon and have questions already written out for you that you can look at and that you can discuss with your children and discuss with your family. So the biggest thing, one of the biggest ways that you can pass on the spiritual truths with that heart connection is through faith talks. And so I hope this was encouraging. I hope that this makes sense. It doesn't have to be super awesome, as in like super theological. It's just a time where you gather around with your family, open up Scripture, and hear what God has to say, and ask some questions, get conversation going. So again, I hope this was good for you. I hope this kind of opened maybe your eyes to an opportunity to pass on the truth through your heart connection. And we'll look at, again, next week, another way of passing on truths through heart connections, through God, capturing God moments. So I hope to see you next week. I hope this is good. Praying for you as parents, praying that God would continue to use you to further the kingdom through your children. Love you, and see you next week.